Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to F1 Total. We are here for the 11th round of Season 18 at the Bahrain International Circuit for Division 2. My name is VNT Felix Mon. I'll be taking you through tonight's action on my own for tonight as well, just like yesterday in Division 3. Well, no, I wasn't alone in Division 3. What am I talking about? I did the intro alone, but Sully joined me nearing the end of qualifying. But today I actually am alone, unless someone jumps in last minute again. I've got an 18 car grid for today. The people you see in the lobby plus Phantom, who is still on his way. So that's every single main driver in attendance. Changes from last week. We have lost. We haven't lost. Not dead, but Cheeseburger and JM have dropped from main driver to reserve as they are no longer able to make the races every week. So they've given up their seat. We haven't filled them yet, so they're available for someone else to take if they're interested. No reserves waiting today either. Um, we've got one new face in this race, though. We've got Yeshurun. I'm gonna say Yesh. I hope that's correct. If not, please do correct me. Um, Joining us today, he's taken the Haas seat that's been empty ever since Mihai dropped to reserve himself. And yeah, joining Gabri in a team that's. Are they fighting for the constructors, or has Ferrari sort of pulled away already? Because I feel like Ferrari should have pulled away by now, given that they have got Kuko and Sean both in the. Yeah, Ferrari are actually pretty much gone, leading the Constructors' Championship on 248 points. The next closest team actually is VCAP on 148, so full 100 points behind. It's very close behind Ferrari, though. If we have a look, VCAP 148, Haas 132, Aston Martin 115, Mercedes 105, Sauber 104, Red Bull 94. So there's 54 points from second to seventh. But yeah, Ferrari an absolute mile away. So constructors looking quite likely to go towards Ferrari, but it just makes sense if you consider that the top three in the standings and the three drivers fighting for the championship include two Ferrari drivers in Sean and Kuko. Sean leads the way as it stands, 137 points. Gabri 10 points behind him, 127, and then Sean's teammate Kuko 111 points, 26 points behind his teammate in third. Following then is Cheeseburger, but Cheeseburger no longer racing. Well, I was gonna say no longer racing this season, but maybe we'll see him again. I'm not quite sure how his schedule allows it. But yeah, he's dropped to reserve, so I think that puts him firmly out of the championship fight. Unfortunately. So it is really just those three. Pinky is on 79 points, so 58 back. Phantom on 71, 66 back. Rodinho 69, 68 back. So mathematically, of course, there's more people involved, but we have got those three drivers to look at mainly. And after yesterday, of course, we know a bit better what to expect. I thought this would be a two-stop race, but I was proven wrong. Pretty much the oh, well, not the entire field. Some people, I think Lucas and Dylan, went for the two-stop mainly. I think Marcelio as well. Can't remember who else. But there was, I think, a couple more still. But the one-stop proved to be the better strategy for sure. So hopefully, I don't know what I'm saying hopefully, but I reckon then most drivers today will also opt for the one-stop and will try and make those tires last, since it seemed to be the best strategy yesterday. Another thing as well to talk about today, Gabri actually has an anniversary today. It's his 100th ever Division 2 race. Of course, he's been part of Division 2 ever since the first race of Division 2 back in, I think it was Season 10. Also here at Bahrain, the first ever race in Division 2. So now, eight seasons later, does that add up? 10, 11, 12... No, that's 9 seasons later. 9 seasons later, actually. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, season 18 is 9 seasons after season 10. Gary finally has his 100th race in the league, not in the league, sorry, in Division 2 specifically. I think counting. I'm not sure. What do you count as in the league? Does it need to be Division 1? I think he has a handful of Division 1 races, so that puts him over 100 already. But does it need to be like the main league, or for example the realistic division as well, was something we did for one season where Gabi, I think, raced. We have off-season events where you can rack up races, so it's a bit of a weird thing to count across divisions, but for sure in this specific division, as Pix has had a disconnect, this is a anniversary for him. So let's get Pix a new invite to the lobby. There we go. We've got 2 drivers as well as 7 qualifying bans in this race, with both Pinky and Flavors getting 5 penalty points over their last 18 races, resulting in a qualifying ban here in Bahrain. So they will be starting from back of the field in 17th and 18th. Well, they can't put a lap in qualifying. Right now Pinky's first actually, since I think the way it works is he has the lowest racing number, so he probably has number 1 or number 2, something like that. But then he will drop down the order, of course, as soon as everyone else puts in any lap time. He's out on track right now, but I think he's just doing the outlap to get the setup on the car. So he should be, yeah, he's on full wets, so definitely not doing any sort of laps here. Yeah, the first driver who I saw on the lap was Viral, so we're still more with him. Yesterday was a good day for him. The race win in Division 3. Wants to build on that, of course. And keep that going into Wednesday, into Division 2 as well. A 106.3 middle sector for the McLaren man. I would see if this first benchmark is a good one. Yesterday we're looking at low 28s, high 27. I think at 27.9 it was barely for Viral, which ended up being pole position lap. And now we start with a 28.2, so a good start to qualifying for him. Of course, he's not quite where he was yesterday, but that's to be expected. The first lap usually isn't the best one in the session. You tend to improve it a little bit. I think he is way off on the gravel. Gabri over the line. 28.3, actually slower than Viral, which I did not expect. Yesh with an invalid lap time here. Maxi over the line. And that's a 28.6, that puts him third fastest. Picks back in the lobby now. One of the Williams in the background coming over the line. That's always a 28.9. Up next, a Ferrari. That would be Sean. No, that's Kuko starting it up. Then the Sauber of Ossi, who is invalidated. Up next is that, I'm gonna guess it's an Alpine, but I'm not sure which one. Okay, it's not an Alpine. Who's that coming around the final corner? There we go, found him. Sully! But he's invalidated. Great, all that work to find him, and he's not even valid. Sean then. Finally, we found someone on the right lap by a rival slump pole with a 28.2. Let's see if Sean can beat that. He can't. It's 28.5. That's P3 for Sean. And then we have the Mercedes of Pubdog over the line. And he goes third fastest, 28.472, just under a tenth away from Sean behind him. Edwin has gone way off on the gravel. And that lap going down in rain, and so is the next one. And now we're back to where we started. Viral on his way back to the pit lane. Behind him, a Red Bull of Akuzin. Finishing up his first lap on the session. 6 lap times on the board so far. And Akuzin goes into 6th, 28.702. Half a tenth behind Maxi ahead of him. 2.5 tenths ahead of Always. Up next is the other McLaren of Maxi. He already finished the lap, so then we've got the Williams of Always, who's not another push lap, and he is right ahead of the Ferrari of Kuko, who hopefully isn't on the lap himself, otherwise he's been definitely blocked by Always there. He still goes top, 27.6, so maybe he actually got a bit of a tow from Always rather than being blocked. Up next, Yesh on his first ever qualifying lap in Division 2. So we'll have an idea of what his pace could be after this one. It's a 1 minute 30.6, 1.1 seconds of Always. It's not the strongest of bankers left from him. Aussie going to third place there, 28.3. Solely over the line. Is he going to get a good lap time on the board? It's alright. P4, 28.339. Edwin parked in the runoff zone. What is Edwin up to? Pinky retires now on the pit lane. Of course, he has to serve that qualifying ban. Save with Flavors. They will not be putting a lap time in. Bobolinho starting his first lap. Is anyone else on a push lap? Kuko, is he going again? No, he's on non-EIS now. So I think we've got Yash doing another one. He's on hot lap EIS, and we'll have a quick look when he comes into a sector. Otherwise, we've just got Bobolinho. who has been a driver to look out for all season. Always there or thereabouts, and a great first sector there, 28.6 I think it was, and it was shown as purple. Let's have a look. What did it say? 28.36, there we go. Not 6. And that is actually 1.5 tenths slower than Kuko, but Kuko is 6 tenths clear of Viral in second place. Well, that's a big, big moment at the National 2, and I completely forgot to check Yesh's sector time, but he's a second down. What is Edwin doing? Why is he in the gravel again? Near a purple middle sector, 106.5. And that was a great line through there, using all the track available to him, all the way out to the white line. Into the last corner, he's got enough ES left, burn all the way to the line, he's managed that quite well. So he won't be losing any time from that down here. The DRS enabled, of course, and over the line it's a 28.257. And it is third place for Boborino. And it couldn't be much closer between Viral and Boborino in the fight for second and third. Edwin still crawling around the track. No one on a push lap as it stands. 9.5 minutes to go. Two McLarens are back out on track. Maxi and Viral ahead of him. But halfway through qualifying, Kuko is 6 tenths clear of anyone else. Sean down in 8th, Gabby down in 6th. They have some work to do for sure. And right now, yesterday's pace setter once again looking competitive, up in second place. But yeah, the gap that Kuko has for everybody else. I mean, I wouldn't say Kuko's lap time is like incredible because he's not that much faster than the Division 3 times. So that should be doable for the likes of Gabri, of Sean, Phantom Fox, if he actually qualified, Boborino, you know, the usual people you see at the front in Division 2 should definitely be able to put in the sort of lap times that Kuko has put in, I would say. Since the pole in Division 3 was 26, that'd be crazy, 27.9. 27.6 definitely is not unreasonable. It's a good, not to slander Kuko, that was not my intention. It's a very good lap time, especially as the banker. But it isn't something I would expect to be 6 tenths clear of P2. So we'll see if people have got more time in those laps and if that gap from Kuko gets closed in and into a little bit more. Of course, I'm sure he can also improve more on that time. Viral 33 thousandths down in that first sector. Teammate Maxi, the one already has abandoned the lap. Not happy with how it went. Pub Dog coming through turn 4 right now as well. Also on his second lap of the session, 28.472, his previous best, which put him 7th. 20 thousandths down in the first sector, so small time loss there from him. Akuzin is starting the lap as well. I think he's just coming over the main straight. Yep. Let's have a quick look back towards Viral as he's coming towards the end of sector 2. Is he able to improve on that banker lap he put in earlier? Yes, he is. A 10th up, which would secure his second place a little bit more, but gets him nowhere near Kuko. One corner to go here. Just about where the curb starts on the left-hand side. Using the track on the inside and the outside, of course. DRS enabled. DRS enabled and over the line for Viral. That's a 28.081. Gains 1.5 tenths. Gets himself a bit of a poster to the cars behind. And eats into Kuko's gap. But it's not enough to get Kuko off position. Gabri 1.5 tenths up in the first sector. Pub Dog through the last corner. 2.5 tenths gaining there. Aussie just started the lap up ahead. Pub Dog goes into 4th place at 28.283. Bazooka starting it up behind him. Then we've got Maxi, who we saw invalidated earlier, I believe. Then it's the Haas of Yesh starting it up. Who is that over the line? That's one of the Williams. That's Sonny starting it up. So up next we've got... is that Akuzin already? Yes. 50 thousandths up in the middle sector, so he could be beating Maxi with this. As he comes over the line. That is indeed P8 actually. He gets a little more than that. Beats Sean as well. Sean himself 4 tenths up though as he comes to the last corner. Looking at a low 28 here. Which could put him ahead of Boborino. Maybe even on the front row next to his teammate Kuko. And that's exactly where he goes. But Gabri immediately beats that. 27.784 and there we go. Kuko does also improve on his lap time. 27.401. Kuko stamping his authority on that pole position. As Gabriel Sean moved closer, he put the bar a whole lot higher once more. 7.4 is a great lap by Kuko. We've got Aussie down to the last corner, 14,000 up in the middle sector, but he's also very low in ES where you saw him at 8% for most of the straight, so now he will be losing some time down towards the line here with the ES management he did early in the lap, burning more, and he is in the end not improving. Stays way was Bazooka through the last corner, currently 18th. Edwin, what are we doing, Edwin? That's P9 for Bazooka. Edwin is he trying to take the outer layout? I don't quite understand what Edwin's up to. He's just kind of taking the piss, I feel like, which is I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, he hasn't gotten anyone's way, but he's not really trying to qualify, I feel like. He's not just exploring around the track, having a look at all the runners and all the walls, inspecting. Bobolinho has gained 41,000 in that first sector, and that behind him is Flavors. No, it's Edwin. Can't be Flavors. Flavors is in the pit lane serving his qualifying ban. So currently Bobolinho just inside the top 5, very close to him and Pub Dog, and he is up by 3.5 tenths. A big improvement coming from Bobolinho here, and that looked pretty good for second to last corner. So now with a good run down to the last corner, a lot of EIS left in the tank. Could this put him ahead of Sean into the top 3? We'll wait and see. Maybe even ahead of Gabri. He pits! He pits! He was doing so well in that lap. I'm surprised he went to the pit lane. I mean, it's 4 minutes ago. I think he could have finished that lap and come back in anyway to another one, but maybe it would have been tight. So I think that was the thinking, that he thinks he can do even better, and he wanted to make sure he has time for one more lap. But still, surprised to see that. Yesh, up by a tenth and a bit in the middle sector. The next car up ahead of him, P13, always at 28.967 to beat. If he wants to get off of a last place in the grid, well, not quite last, but last of the ones with the lap time on the board. And he has improved massively in the last sector. He was up by a tenth in the middle sector, and then in the end was over 5 tenths, almost 6 tenths. It goes, well, still 14th, 29.475, but a whole lot closer to always up ahead of him. I think he has some time left on the board to do one more if he has enough fuel. No, he's out of fuel, so he also won't have time to get back to the pit lane. So that, I think, is the end of his qualifying, unfortunately for him. Meaning he will likely start only ahead of Pinky and Flavors. I'm not sure what Phantom, if he's going to have time to do that lap at the end. Edwin, I just don't know, to be honest. Flavors now retiring in the pit lane. Viral on another lap here. He's the only car currently out on track, him and Yesh. And he's up by 3 tenths in the first sector. What a start on the lap by Viral. Now, if he nails sector 2 and 3 as well, this could put him on the front row. A driver we usually don't see all that much in the front of Division 2. Of course, he did win that race in Vegas earlier this season. But other than that, we haven't really seen him all that much this season, in Division 2 at least. Division 3 he's been absolutely outstanding. So it's nice to see him confirming that pace as well. Now 3 tenths up still, has lost a little bit in the middle sector, but negligible amounts. So with a good final sector, this very well could still put him ahead of Gabri. Breaks his ladies and dares for the final corner, over the curb on the inside. Now put to the floor, over the line for Viral. That's a 27.802. It is a big improvement. It is not the front row, it is P3. But still, what a lap by Viral. And a whole lot faster than he went yesterday as well. About 2 tenths to be exact. Roughly. Just under 2 tenths. He has just improved by. And he's happy, he's celebrating. Bobolinho starts his last lap of the session now, 1 minute 30 to go. Everyone going out rather late. Phantom only out on track now. Will he make the line? Oh, Phantom. He's in a big rush now. And Bobolinho currently still in P5, didn't improve on his... well, he went back to the pit lane on his earlier run, so this one needs to be a good one now to justify doing so. He was up by about 3/10, I believe, so 1.5 tenths so far. Good start to the lap. Gabri underway as well now. And so is Ossi at the end of Sector 1 right now. 28.313 his previous best, which puts him 7th. 1.5 tenths up. Sully underway. Picks underway always. Almost 2 tenths up in the first sector. Going back on Bordinio as he comes towards the end of Sector 2. There's a whole lot of cars up ahead. But they are far enough ahead and they won't be a problem for him. 2.5 tenths up, not quite as much as he was earlier, but he's got a lot of EIS left, much more than last time even. So he's been even more conservative with the EIS usage in the early part of the lap, and now he can burn all of that in this last sector. And it should be a really good lap by him. Just could put him onto the front row, I reckon. Over the line for Boboniu is a 27.994. It's not the front row, it's P4 in the end. Very good lap by Bobodinho, but I think he would have been hoping for even more, because I think he was up by more earlier. Ossi through the last corner. Behind him, not sure, I think that's a Williams. That's P6 for him, 28.203. The Williams over the line was always 28.636. Now, the Haas of Gabri, 3 tenths up. He could put a spanner in the works in the fight against Kuko for pole position. He's massively behind right now, but he's massively up as well. It's not quite enough, 27.557. Then, the Red Bull of... no, that's the VCAP of Fix, apologies, over the line. Up next, that will be the Williams of Sully, I think that went over the line. Yes. Now the Mercedes of Pupdog goes 4 fast, 27.995. Now the two Ferraris. Kuko round the final corner, slightly down. Sean slightly up. Sean over the line goes third fast, 27.754. Kuko does improve a little bit again, 27.374. Now Bazooka over the line. He is gonna improve to 9th. Up next, now it's Red Bull of Akusin, but he's invalidated. So behind that, the McLaren of Maxi up by a 10th. Not quite, almost a 10th. Phantom did make the line, so he's the last driver over the line in the end as well. Maxi improves into P11, and Phantom, the last driver, still going. Currently P16 without a lap time on the board. He goes into P11 with a 28.417, and that puts an end to qualifying, as Bombardino is of course going around slowly. We saw him on his lap earlier. And Kuko, with one hell of a qualifying, well in the lead after the bankers, well in the lead after the second laps, and holds on pole position in the last lap as well. Improves once again, even though he didn't need to. He already had pole, and that is your top 3 in the standings mirrored. Kuko P3 in the standings, P1 on the grid, followed by Gabri, P2 in the standings, P2 on the grid, Sean P1 in the standings, P3 on the grid. Then Rival with a great qualifying in 4th, Papdog great qualifying in 5th, Bobodinho in 6th, Ossi in 7th, Sully in 8th, Bazooka in 9th, picks around to the top 10, followed by Phantom in 11th, then Maxi, Akusin, always, Yesh on his debut in 15th, Pinky with a qualifying ban in 16th, Edwin, whatever the fuck he was doing, in 17th, and Flavors with the qualifying ban in P18 and last. So here we are then, loading onto the grid. Drivers can finalize their strategies, set up their fuel loads, make some small adjustments to the setup under Park May, of course, front wing changes, brake bias, tire pressures, those sort of details, they can still change. I'm expecting pretty much everyone on the medium hard strategy now. We shouldn't be seeing any more 2-stops after yesterday. They seemed fairly useless. Neither Lucas nor Dylan really got much use out of them, and they were the ones, of course, who early on in the race before their second pit stop were fighting at the front of the field. Here we go then for the formation lap. We can have a look at the tires for everyone.
Here we go then. The
Should be
formation
mediums
lap
or
gets
hards
underway
really for
and the
everyone.
excitement here is
And it
building
is.
as
We've
we
got
get
hards
ever
for
closer
Pix,
to the
Phantom,
start of the
Always,
race.
Pinky,
Which
Edwin and
team will
Flavors.
come
So
out
all
on
the
top?
guys,
Who's got their strategies right for today's
all
race?
guys who are
We'll
nearing the
soon
back of
find
the
out.
field, who are gonna have to do a bit of a comeback drive, especially the guys for qualifying match, of course, Pinky, Flavors, Phantom down 11, of course. Well, we know Phantom's situation.
So as all the cars
Being unable to
reform the
qualify
grids,
every
the
week,
drivers
he
will be hoping
basically
to
is
get a
always on a
strong
comeback drive.
start. They'll want to earn
So they're
some
trying something
valuable
different,
points from today's race,
going for the
with final
aggressive overcut
communications
strategy,
being done with their race engineers,
different to everyone
ensuring
else,
the
and
planned
seeing if that can get them
strategies are all in
up
place.
the order. But in terms of the top 9, or the top 10, but Pix ruined it, everyone on the same strategy, everyone starting on the medium, and I would assume going for the hard later on, unless we've got someone like Dylan who's putting out a medium soft again, which would be quite something. Like, because even if you do two-stop, you're doing medium hard most likely. Maybe medium hard medium. But well, enough strategy talk. Here we are on the grid. Cook on the right hand side, Gavin on the left, Sean behind them. Who will lead? Down towards turn 1. It's lights out, and away we go. And Kuka with a bit of wheel spin off the line. Gavin with even more wheel spin. A great start by Pop Dog as he pulls towards the middle of the track. Viral is a great start as well. Sean down to 5th. A horrible start from him. And there is some content back. That is one of the cars going straight on. I think that's the Red Bull of Akuzin. As Kuka and Gabi battle through turn 2. Gabi pushed down onto the curb. Here comes Viral around the outside. Gets Gabi. Can he get Kuka as well? There's a yellow flag for Yeshua. Spun around. Viral has to look up the inside of Kuka, but doesn't quite go for it in the end. Does go for it midway through the corner as Kuka goes deep. And now Viral and Kuka battling for the lead of the race into the S section. Kuka pulls ahead on the outside line. Papdog having a look at Gabri. Side by side through this SS. Papdog pulls around the outside on the exit. The inside line now for the slower hairpin. And that is the advantage he needs to pull ahead. And now look at Sean as well. Looking to get involved. Gabri maybe coming back at Papdog down towards turn 10. What a start this is. And Gabri goes up the inside into turn 10. Papdog with a beautiful switchback. Pulls back alongside now for the inside into turn 11. Can he pull this one off and get that third place off this opening lap? Oh my goodness me. Papdog backs out in the end and Gabri holds on the third, and I can have a bit of a breath. What a start phase that was. So Kuka holds on to the lead, followed by Vinyl with one hell of a start. 2 places up by Vinyl. Sean had a horrible start as well, down to 5th there. Not what he needed early on in this race. And the only driver who has had some kind of incident on the first lap seems to be, or a major incident, Yesh, who was spun around after turn 2. I'm not sure if he made contact with another car. I did, of course. I can't see everything. There's 18 cars barreling down towards turn 1. Gabri covering the inside as Papdog has not given up on this yet. Goes for the outside line into the first corner. Gabri, aggressive defense there. Squeezes him all the way to the white line. Leaves him just about a car's width. And Papdog uses that to pull ahead into third. As Ossie and Sean in the back are battling. Sean dropping further places, it looks like, as Ossie has got the outside line to turn 4. And there goes Bombardino as well. He's going to make it 3 wide. No, not quite. Ossie swoops around the outside through turn 4. Sean on the inside line, pushing him all the way to the right line. Sean is off, and Sean is round, and Sean with big wing damage out of the top 10, out of the fight for the win. It's a full course safety car, and that has saved Sean. He's still, of course, down in last place, but the full course safety car is out for a spin into the wall on lap 2 of this race. And I finally breathe. What on earth? What on earth is going on? And Sean for sure is going to have to make a pit stop here, of course. Get that wing not even changed. Get a new wing. Nothing to change. It's all gone. It's all left it in that wall at the exit of turn 4. And our championship leader, with his teammate up in first, drops down to dead last. Oh, and Yeshurun gets a drive-through penalty, speeding on the safety car. The safety car just brought him back into it. And then he gets the VSC Delta misjudges. Edwin and Sean was up in place there as well, but a bit confused by that as well. And his race, once again, yeah, majorly impacted by that. And he'll have a tough time coming back from that. He's essentially going to be a full pit stop behind after the safety car phase. Now, do people pit for this? Do you switch to, for example, a hard strategy to go in the end? I think these guys in the front are going to, yeah, want the track position. You could definitely pit for hards and then hards again later to have 2 hards to the end. Bazooka, I think, is doing that. It is a good option because the hard tire is a much better race tire, and some of the guys in the back of the field seem to be doing that. Of course, they have a lot less to lose. No track position for them to have, so they might as well go for the tires. Of course, Sean has to pit. So he is forced into the strategy. Surprised that Flavor's pit of Hearts. Oh, yeah, wing damage. Okay, that makes sense then. But from Hearts onto New Hearts, so Bazooka comes to the pit lane in 13th, then Akusin, Flavors, Sean, and then Edwin, I think, yep. Onto... what the fuck is Edwin doing? Why is he on forwards? With Yesh down in 18th. Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what Edwin is doing. Edwin is not taking the piss. He's actually... I guess he went for balanced tire options, so he only has one hard, and he had wing damage he had to fix. So because he still wants to be on hards after the safety car, he has gone for the wet now since he won't need this. And we're under safety car anyway, so this doesn't lose him any time. He can now pit again and go back to the hard he was just on. So that actually makes sense. Yeah, back to the pit lane for Edwin. And yeah, you can go back to the hard he already had all earlier. That's a fresh hard actually. Because I just pinged Edwin asking him what the fuck he's doing. And he said he can't do hard. Like I thought it meant he can't not change the tire and he had to change the wing. But I think what he meant actually then was I need to have a different tire on the car so I'm legally allowed to go to the end. But 25 laps? Brave. That tire isn't gonna last, surely, but if it does, fair play. But he's yeah, with that one lap on the full wet now, he has covered the rule of running. Well, there's two rules. Either, and you have to fulfill one of them basically. Either run two different tire compounds or run a wet or inter. Because then obviously if the track is full wet conditions the entire race, you can't ask drivers to run something else in the full wet. That would be dangerous. So that rule like offsets the two tire compound rule. Edwin has fulfilled both of them. He has run a hard and a full wet, but he won't catch the field. Unless he gets a move on, like a really big move on, because the safety car has been called in. And Crew can now hold the restart whenever he wants to. He needs to get the safety car, well, go a little bit. Oh, that's someone around, that's Bazooka! Oh no. Before the race even restarted, Bazooka spun around and headed into the wall off of the second to last corner. Safety car now in the pit lane. Kuko still slowing the pack down, still waiting, doesn't want to give Viral, that slipstream into the first corner. He's gone now, and he has gotten a decent restart there. Viral not too close behind Aussie though, all over the back of Gabri. And that is Yesh into the pit lane itself and drive through. Bazooka into the pit lane, getting the wing changed again. And as we head to turn 1, Gabri and Papdog once again going at it. Gabri trying to get that third place back of Papdog. And they're side by side coming out the corner. Papdog is pulled slightly ahead. Gabri has a look up the inside into the corner. They make contact and Gabri almost round. He has called it. Oh, then the back corner, that's Mourinho though. Almost round as well. And now Sully slips right through. And that's Aussie with a move on Gabri, looks like. But Gabri pulls back ahead from the S section. Holds on the 4th. Kuko holding on to lead after the restart. Bazooka onto softs. And that is Sully going way deep. And Mourinho goes right back through into P6. Everyone's settling into rhythm once again. As Edwin is trying to get back up the field, Sean has to make his way back to the field. At the moment, staring at the back of Akusin. And Dirty Air definitely making some issues for him. Kind of looks very understeery, but he doesn't have any damage. I was a bit confused there with how badly the car was rotating through the corner, but actually it seems fine, visually. Garby has lost DRS to Pop Dog, it looks like. He's struggling out here. Fast lap race from Kuko. Flavors gets past Always for 12th. And Bobardino with a nice little run on Aussie, but he's run out of ES, so you won't get him down towards turn 1. Settles in once again. Behind. Sean has gotten past Akusin. The battle for 14th here. Sean's next target is always in 13th. He needs to make up as many places as he can in this race. Limit the damage in terms of the championship fight between himself, Kuko and Gary. As it stands, Gary closes up by 12 points and Kuko closes up by 25. So every single point Sean gains, well, simple math is 1 point less lost against those two. Thank you, Will Buxton. They should hire me for Drive to Survive. Bobodinho still very close in back of Aussie. He's looking quite racy, but he's low on EIS still. He has to recover a bit before he can attack the Sauber once again. Papdog losing DRS to Viral. Viral losing DRS to Kuko. So the top three still separating a little bit as Gabri has closed up to the back of Papdog again. So he wants to get past here and go after Viral, go after Kuko. Because he sees an opportunity. Sean out the points. This is his chance to retake the championship lead, which he lost a couple of races ago. And he is fairly close behind Papdog. Now to DRS into turn 1. Papdog should be a sitting duck for him. He's low on ES as well. He's covering the middle of the track, but I don't think he has much chance here, as Gabri quite simply slipstreams past him. In the background, Bobodinho on 0% EIS, but so is Aussie. Bobodinho sends it blade on the brakes. They bang wheels somewhat. There is a lot of contact in the corner, and Aussie, with a big moment of oversteer, goes into the side of him. Papdog now with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings there, coming out of turn 2. Only 7 laps in, of already the first track limit penalty. Gabri clearing Papdog, Bobodinho clearing Aussie. 2 moves happening there at once into the top 5. And now Gabri chasing after Viral, chasing after second place in this race. The yellow flag in sector 1, of course, still a glitch from the safety car restart. Whenever we get the first yellow flag after the safety car, it will reset itself and we don't have that visual glitch anymore. But for the drivers, that yellow flag is not there. You can see it on the track as well, there's no yellow flag anywhere, so it's just a visual glitch in the top left, don't be confused by that. Picks on the hard tires should be coming into a zone now. The mediums, of course the safety car phase will have helped them a little bit, but should be showing some signs of wear by now. So you might see a move from Pix on Sony sometime soon. The same goes of course for everybody else further down on the hard tires. Phantom, Pinky, Flavors, Sean, Always, Akusin, Edwin. Well, Yash is quite far away from the field, so I don't think we'll be seeing him making any moves anytime soon. But he should be gaining sometime on the pack, which are going to start battling in the midfield quite heavily soon, I think, with the hard tire runners trying to make their way back from the pack. And look at that Phantom in the slipstream of Maxios covering the middle of the track. And up ahead, that is Pix having a look at Sully up the inside, but doesn't quite go for it. Phantom makes the apex against Maxi as Pix up ahead, goes around, there's no Sully. Maxi pulls back through against Phantom, but Phantom with a nice run down towards turn 4 now. Up the inside he goes. That is a good advantage with the inside line and better tires and Phantom. Oh, goes a bit deep. Maxi with a beautiful switchback pulls back alongside into the S section. Now it's the inside line, but Phantom swoops around the outside. And with that, Phantom is up to 9th. In the meantime, Gabri has caught up to the DRS range of Viral. This battle for second place is on. Kuko 2.5 seconds clear in lead of the Grand Prix. After a dominant qualifying, looking dominant in the race as well. But of course, these guys in behind are going to want to do something about that. Viral couldn't keep up with him. But for sure, Garbraid's not going to give up that easily. He needs to get past Viral, he needs to go chasing after Kuko, and he needs to get that race win, really. Every single point will count, and 7 points certainly are worth a whole lot So if he can get that race point off Kuko, it will be absolutely massive for the championship. Failing that, second place would be a nice consolation prize. He's got Papdog from DRS already. Papdog now vulnerable to the attacks of Bombardino down this main straight. Especially, well, both of them very low on ES, but I think the DRS gives Bombardino the advantage he needs to overtake Papdog and clear him before the braking zone. Papdog hasn't really got a whole lot that he can do about that. There's Pinky on the outside of Maxi through the first corner. With a better exit as Maxi gets a little bit loose. And is now on attack from Flavors as well, who of course pit under the safety car phase, so his tires will be even better than those of Phantom and Pinky. Flavors up the inside into the fourth corner. Maxi holding it around the outside. And they are still side by side off the corner. I think Flavors slightly ahead and Maxi doesn't force the issue. Lets Flavors go in the end and has to let Flavors go. Having a look once again at Gabri and Viral. Gabri is not close in all that much. He's still sort of 6, 7, 8 tenths back from Viral most of the time. Not close enough for the overtake. Of course, at this point, he's waiting for the DRS zone down towards turn 1 or down towards turn 4. Forcing a move into turn 11. I mean, on the last lap maybe, because there's no more DRS zones coming up after. But other than that, not all that sensible. Since all you're doing is giving your opponent DRS on those two long straights, or mainly the long DRS straight into turn 1. At least out of turn 2, you can probably give them quite a bit of dirty air, and they won't re-overtake you. And now Gabri only 3 tenths back from Viral. I think we're about to see the swap for second place there. Gabri in the DRS pulls through on the inside, and Viral can't do anything about it. Now he has DRS though, heading towards turn 4 with a good exit out of here, which he has had. He can try and come back at him. Gabri, of course, wants to do everything he can to avoid that, so he's burning the overtake mode down the straight, and that keeps him second place. And now he can start chasing after Kuko. 3.5 seconds the gap that he needs to eat into. Can he do it? That's definitely attractive in the morning from Viral. Chasing back in behind Bombardino, followed by Papdog. Looking to get involved in the fight for the podium as Akuzin picks up a 3-second time penalty. Multiple track limit warnings. Currently running in 14th. So that dampens his chances of getting some points out of this race. Bombardino now seemingly in DRS range to Viral. Viral doing good job to stay with Gabri though. Gabri losing quite a bit of time to Kuko this lap. And we're looking more and more like Kuko is going to simply run away with this. We are coming towards the pit stop phase. Should be seeing the first pit stops in the next lap or two, I would say. It's not this lap, too early for the one stop. Okay, Gabri's in. Gabri wastes absolutely no time. The moment I say too early for the one stop, Gabri's in, and so is Sully. Both of them and Maxi, all 3 of them, very aggressive. Undercutting here. I don't think they're two-stopping. That would be too late for that. So it is going to be quite a long, hard stint for them. But I'll try and make that work. Of course, the advantage that they see is a big undercut. And especially for Gabri, I mean, he had 4 seconds to gain on Kuko. He wasn't going to gain it on pace, it looked like. Maybe he can gain it on strategy if Kuko doesn't respond to the undercut immediately. Say he gives Gabri 2 laps. Gabri makes up 2 seconds on both those laps. He's right with him. And then all Gabri has to do is hold on to him with the DRS, and that will be easier than trying to catch up. So we'll see if Kuko responds to the undercut from Gabri immediately, or if he gives him another lap over him. Of course, the longer Kuko goes, the bigger his tire advantage will be coming out the pit lane. But the more he risks coming out behind Gabri. And the similar situation for those guys in behind, they are being undercut by Sully and by Maxi. So they also can't go that much longer. And Kuko doesn't take the risk of going longer. He's into the pit lane immediately. The lap after Gabri, Kuko pits, and so is Viral. Bombardino is out, Papdog staying out. So is Pix, of course, on the hards. Both Saubers, of course, Phantoms on the hards, also staying out. So yeah, all those hard runners will be staying out longer. Makes perfect sense. Pinky closing in on Phantom, but he's too far back. Surely sends it on the brakes anyway and backs out in the end. Phantom, though, leaves him the space. Bit of self-preservation there, and Pinky almost round from turn 2. Kuko coming out of the pit lane there, and there in the background you see Gabri still a bit further away. And Gabri has, of course, come out ahead of Viral, as Flavors and Pinky are battling. Pinky pulling back through on the inside to turn 4. The problem for Kuko is he is going to run into some traffic there up ahead of him. Edwin and Alwise locked in the battle for P10. But Gabri hasn't really gained all that much. He's still 4 seconds back from Kuko. And neither Edwin nor Alwise will be pitting anytime soon, so Kuko's going to have to get past him out on track. And this gives an opportunity to Gabri to close in. Bombardini on Papdog, still out on track. Same for Aussie on the old mediums. You would think they'll be in this lap, seeing as everybody else has already come in. I'm surprised they all went so early. I think Gabri, Sully and Maxi going on lap 10 already has forced everybody else's hand to respond. And now they're gonna have a long stint to the end. And these guys are not falling for that trap, it seems. Aussie's in now, but Bombardino and Papdog are going quite long on this medium. Pitting on, I assume they're gonna pit this lap on lap 13. That's really the latest lap that makes sense. But yeah, so lap 11, lap 12 I saw as like the usual pit stop window, as lap 11 already is the early one. Lap 10 was very early, and then lap 13 for me was like the overcut window. It's also not 15th lap early, so this lap 13 for Bombardino and Papdog makes sense on a normal race as the overcut. Now it's a 3-lap overcut over the first pit stoppers, so it is yeah, quite an aggressive overcut they're doing here. Quite an extreme one as Kuko has gotten past Alwise, has he? They're still battling actually. He's already got past Edwin, but now he also pulls ahead of Alwise up into 9th. Of course, Gabri has gained a bit of time there with those two battling, but Gabri himself will have to make his way through this pack. He will definitely catch them before they pit, because they've got a few more laps to go before they can make their pit stops. To yeah, mediums that will go to the end. If they pit for mediums now, they will have to pit again and be on a 2-stop strategy, which of course doesn't make any sense for the strategy. Edwin specifically, he could go to the end. I mean, he said he wants to. And also the whole point of running that that wet for 1 lap under safety car, so you could be allowed to go to the end, but I don't think it's possible. Bombardino and Papdog still out. 14 laps on mediums. Very long stint from those two. And the hard runners, of course, I mean, they're not in DRS range. It's not like Papdog and Bombardino are crazy slow. They are just, yeah, gonna keep going on those tires for as long as they possibly can, it seems. And Sean, at this point, back up into P7. Now at the back of Flavors. Sully and Aussie swap for 14 there. Sully going up the inside in the first corner. Because they are waiting for the pit stops of these guys. All of the hard runners who either pit for hards under that safety car or starting on hards. They are unlikely to make the end, I would say. Well, the ones who start on hards literally can't make the end, but the ones who pitted for hards under safety car. I think Flavors also is done hard, so he has to pit again. But likes of Sean and Akusin could make the end legally if they wanted to. But the tire wear, of course, will be very massive. So I doubt they will be doing that. And I mean, surely now Papdog and Bombardino are in, because otherwise they've done over half the race on mediums, which makes like no sense at all. Sully with a 3-second time penalty, multiple points, and gets overtaken by Aussie. So not the ideal scenario for him there. And now, yes, Bombardino's in, and so is Papdog. Finally coming off those mediums, about 3 laps after I thought they would. Releasing Pigs until the end of the race. But of course he hasn't made that pit stop yet. And that is... What? Hold on. Has Bobbardino gotten the strategy, like, wrong in the setup? As Edwin and always are battling through turn 1, and that's Gabri involved as well, as he's trying to get back past him. As they have, of course, not made pit stops yet, and Gabri clears always now. But Bobbardino, he started mediums, he's got mediums again. He has to pit again. Real strategy blunder by Bobbardino, he's completely thrown away the race with that. And I think he just forgot to set the strategy up correctly. Because I can't explain that otherwise. There's no explanation, really, for why you would want mediums there. Gary now with the all-take mode should be getting the move on Edwin Dunn, who's trying to defend, but his tires are simply too old. And Gary goes right past him. Kuko up ahead, stuck behind Akuzin. So both Gabri and Kuko struggling with traffic at the moment. Gabi is cleared it now, Kuko's left to wait for the main straight. But then he will have a nice little gap of 7 seconds up to the top 5 group, who I think by the time he's caught them will have stopped. But Kuko doesn't seem in all that much of a rush. He was very patient in waiting for this DRS on down towards turn 1. He knows he will get Akuzin now, and he knows Gabri is not all that close, and of course Kuko has a 1 lap tire advantage over Gabri. So he's in a very good spot here. And now Viral, the next one who's on the back of Always and Edwin, as there's a spot for the lead as Phantom has gotten past Pix into turn 4. They're battling. Coming out of the corner, Phantom pulling ahead, just to go on board with them, great. And now Aussie and Pubdog are battling through turns 1 and 2. There's Pubdog on the outside. Aussie and Pubdog both going off track and over the gravel strip there from Aussie as well. Aussie comes out ahead of him in the end, but that could be an illegal overtake unless the game decides they're both off track. In that case it's fine, I guess. And Sully right behind them as well, on quite old hard tires already, both Sully and Maxi. The undercut for them didn't work out so well, like they've come out in 15th and 16th in the end. Did they change wings or something, or why they shouldn't be losing time that badly with an undercut? That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Rival now on the back of Edwin. Edwin has got DRS to Gabri, and that allows him to hold on against Rival for the moment. Edwin with a 3-second time penalty hanging over his head now though. Sean all over back of Flavors now. Is one of these 5 gonna pit already? Or they're going to all keep going? I think they've all gonna keep going for at least another lap or so. Flavors had a think, and Sean is in. I think Flavors tried to dummy the pit stop, and Sean, I don't know if Sean fell for the dummy or if he wanted to pit anyway, as Edwin goes way deep. Another swap for the lead there, that's Pix getting past Phantom. Of course, Sean in the pit lane now, dropping down the order. Fast lap in the race from Bobbardino on those fresh mediums, and Pix being attacked by Phantom once again to turn 4. Phantom up the inside on Pix for the lead of this race. Side by side heading towards the S section. Pix slightly ahead and Phantom backs out. Rival got past Edwin in the end. Now Bobbardino coming up the back of Edwin, who goes way off the track there. Rejoins the track just ahead of Bobbardino, and thankfully Bobbardino can avoid him. Aussie also now in traffic here. Sonny and Pubdog, 3 of them on the chase. And the next ones who will come up behind Owise and Edwin. Hopefully for them, by the time they are here, those guys are pitted and they don't have to go through the whole charade that Kuko, Gabri, Rival and Bobbardino had to go through. Bobbardino, of course, in a very tough spot right now. I guess, I mean, yeah, there's no reason for him to just pit right again immediately. Where's Edwin going? He must have gotten big wing damage or something, because he's all over the place. No, he hasn't. He's just driving like an idiot. And I'm not sure what Edwin is up to today, I can't lie. Phantom is in the pit lane now, and so is Flavors. Edwin always battling for the last corner there. Edwin thought he's pitting, but no, he's just being all the way on the inside here. The F124 esports line, which Edwin, I'm not sure if you remember, that doesn't work anymore. And always with the switchback through the first corner. Doesn't quite get the traction he needs. And Gabri gets past Akozin for 4th, but Akozin with the switchback this time. Into the S section, but he has got all the tires and he hasn't got a grip to pull through like that. As always, swoops around Jetson Edwin into turn 4. And they've got a whole group of cars staying behind him. That's Pubdog, Aussie, Sully, Sean, who's just come out the pit lane. And Phantom as well on fresh mediums. Oh, and this round, Edwin and Always make contact, and look at all those cars swarming them from behind there. And now Always is round again. And that's one of the Mercedes off as well. That's Pubdog. Has Always got a puncture, or why did he go off like that? It's absolute pandemonium right now in the midfield here. And in all of that, Aussie has come out unscathed, followed by Sully, and Sean is now going through on Sully. Phantom in 11th, then Edwin with big wing damage, and once again going way off track here. And rejoins behind all of them, behind his teammate Flavors in 15th. Viral and Bobardino all over the back of Garvin here in the battle for 3rd, as Pinky is now in the pit lane. This becomes indeed a battle for 3rd. There they are, 3 wide down towards turn 1. Viral in the middle, has to back out in the end, and Bobardino gets past them both. Bobardino into the top 3, but of course he has to make another pit stop. Viral and Garvin now side by side, and Garvin's round! They bang wheels in the middle of turn 2, and Garvin gets a huge slap of oversteer. Viral pulls ahead. Gabi catches it, but he is out of the ES range now. Now he has to start chasing after Rival again. Akozin, Edwin and Always now in the pits. As Bazooka and Yesh are battling over the wooden spoon here for P17, and Yesh low on ES. Bazooka flies past him. Always and Edwin coming out in last and second last as well now. Pix the only one who hasn't made a pit stop now, still leading out on track. But Kuko only 2 seconds behind him, and Pix with a pit stop to do. That lead will be going to Kuko once Pix does make that stop. Viral now being pulled along by Bombardino, and he can try and build a gap to Gabri to get that 3rd place over the line, which will become 2nd place once Pix and Bombardino make their pit stops. Sean's comeback drive going rather well. He's staring at Rossi, which currently is 6th, will turn into 4th. Of course, he has got Phantom in behind. He's in a sort of a Sauber sandwich here, but Aussie's tires are a bit older. Phantom on those mediums would think has the advantage for now, but will he have that advantage come the end of the race as well? Pix now in the pit lane, the last one who hasn't pit so far. And I would assume going for a lot of mediums will bring him to the end of the Grand Prix. Sean very close behind Aussie. I think we're about to see a move for P6. And Aussie hasn't got a whole lot he can do there. He is trying. And here comes Phantom. Getting past his teammate Aussie, up into 6th place. Is he going to go for the move on Sean as well? Having a look up the inside, under braking. But decides better of it. Sean leaves him the space regardless, as he was maybe a bit spooked by Phantom's look up the inside. Now Sean doesn't have the ES into turn 4, covers the middle of the track. Phantom going for the outside and thank you very much for that racing line, and going right past him. And look at Pinky there with a late move on Pubdog. And somehow that works out with neither of them going off track. Pinky pulling ahead for P10 on those fresh mediums. Trying to make his way back from the field, back towards the top 5. And now Pix and Maxi side by side through turn 10. Pix with a massive tire advantage. Look at the exit he's at compared to the McLaren. And now you can really see that these tire differences, the strategy difference coming into play. Fresh mediums against 10 lap old hards with Maxi and Sully, of course, with that very early undercut. And these guys now went for the hards off the start or off the safety car. Now with fresh mediums. Looks almost like multi-class racing. Pinky waiting for the DRS on the main straight. Yeah. Bump drafting Sully down towards the last corner. And now he'll get him down the main straight. Sully. Absolutely nothing he can do there. Flavors in the meantime, getting past Aussie up ahead. Up into 7th, Pinky up into 9th. Both drivers for qualifying bands making their way through the field nicely, well to the points now. And that is Pubdog having a look at Pix into turn 1. But Pix comes out ahead. Both recaps making their way through the field. Maxi with a 3-second time penalty, running in 13th right now. And with his tires being quite old, And now I think 6 seconds of penalties, or was that his first penalty? His first penalty, so 3. But still, looking rather unlikely he gets some points out of this Grand Prix. Eight laps to go then. Kuku leads by a considerable margin, 5 seconds from Mourinho. Gary falling back from Viral, who's being pulled along by Mourinho. That's worked out quite nicely for Viral. Especially for Mourinho, who has to make another pit stop. Not being a factor in the battle for the podium. As it stands, the result would be Kuko, Viral, Gary, Phantom, and then Sean finishing 5th after all that's happened in his race. Edwin now with a 3-second time penalty for multiple track limit warnings. Already down in 18th. I was going to say a nightmare race for him, but I don't think he gives a fuck, given that how he's been driving all race, but it's been everywhere but the track, I feel like. And there's Pix making the move for 10th on Sully. Up into the points paying positions for the V-Card man. Up ahead we've got Pinky on the back of Aussie with a big tyre advantage in favour of Pinky. We think that Aussie has to let him go there, as he's gonna stay on the outside on the racing line, gives Pinky the inside into turn 4. I don't think it really matters which way he allowed Pinky to go. Either way would have worked, and Pinky indeed does go past up into 8th. 2 seconds back now from Flavors up ahead. Can Pinky get himself involved in this fight for the top 5? Yesh back in the pit lane for one more time in this race. Drops him down to 18th. And a fresh set of softs for the last handful of laps of this Grand Prix. Akuzin with a 3-second time penalty there, added to his final race time. 15 seconds back from the next car, so that penalty won't really cost him anything, as he was already out of the fight for the points. His race not quite going so well tonight. But Mourinho still hasn't actually made that pit stop he has to make. I guess he is hoping for another safety car to bail him out or something like that. But yeah, other than that, I mean, if he pits now, where does he come out? So he has 5 seconds to Kuko, so let's say 26 seconds is where he would be. 26 seconds back from the lead, if we're assuming a 21-second pit loss. Yeah, you should come out probably between Max and Akuzin somewhere, so yeah, in 13th out the points. So I guess there really is nothing for him to gain by stopping now. Maybe he could get back into like a P10 or something and scrape some points, but that isn't really the ambition he has. So he's gonna go gambling essentially, hope for a safety car that he can then stop for softs and still get something out of this race. Well, not just something, but specifically a podium. Sonny goes for a beautiful split back on Papdog and is worked out nicely to get them alongside into the end section, but Papdog still pulls ahead in the end. The tyre advantage in favour of the Mercedes, they're definitely playing a big factor in that battle. Yeah, Sully and Maxi now paying the price for their big undercut, and the same goes for Gary. As he is struggling for pace, he is being caught actually by Phantom and Sean. With Flavors being also right there. 3 drivers, Pinky also, and Pix. I mean, there's a group of 5 people all chasing after Gabri. And they've got significantly better tires. There's still some way to go. They won't all get him, I'm fairly confident. But that P4, which of course does turn into P3 once Mourinho pits, is not wrapped up for him whatsoever. He's gonna have to fight for this. Gap at the front, staying consistent. Kuko well in control of this race, doing a great job out there. Keeping it quiet and calm and consistent out front, exactly what he needs to do. Essentially, if you don't hear about Kuko when he's 5 seconds clear off the field, that's exactly what you want to be doing. He doesn't want to do anything interesting. And the gap from Viral to Gabri opening up more and more each lap. Gabri slowing down significantly, and it's only a 1 lap tire difference. I think Viral, of course, being helped, having the dirty F from Bombardino, that will help his tire wear, which sounds a bit backwards, but that is how it works on the F125 game. It's essentially reversed from how it should be. Dirty air, of course, in real life increases your tire temperatures, which it does do in the game, but in doing so it also increases your tire wear. But in the game, it actually somehow decreases your tire wear because you're driving slower, and the increased tire temperatures don't matter nearly enough to offset that. So you actually get significantly less tire wear when you're driving behind other cars. Pinky now, literally sniffing the Flavors down the straight, but Flavors, in the end, a little bit faster down the straight, has a bit more EIS left. Viral puts a 3-second time penalty to his name, with only a handful laps to go, but that shouldn't cost him anything. Guys behind, far enough behind. Unless these guys, Phantom, Sean, Flavors, Pinky, can close up enough. Pix doesn't quite seem to be able to hold the pace with these people. Akuzin speeds in the pit lane. Slightly over the limiter, it seems. 10 seconds added to his final race time, or served at his next pit stop, and also goes for a soft compound tire at the end of this Grand Prix. Maybe hoping for the bonus point for the fastest lap. Which would currently go to Bombardino at 30.852. Of course, Bombardino still has to make another stop as well, so I think the fastest lap is likely to go to him once he makes that stop. He's essentially going to be doing a little qualifying run right in the depth of the race. As he is running out of laps to make that pit stop, he has to do it soon, otherwise he will be disqualified. He's not allowed to go to the end on two sets of mediums, even though he could actually do it, it seems like, which is crazy. I did not think that's possible. And it's really unfortunate because, yeah, he is running in second place, and if he had been on a hard tire, I don't think he'd be in any worse of a position. If anything, the hard tire would be better by now, and he would certainly be, yeah, also in a position to fight for a podium and likely P2, exactly where he is right now. Sean gets past Phantom down the main straight, Phantom with no DRS to defend it. Sean goes past him, and at a great opportunity, a great timing there from Sean. I think that was, I would assume, intentional. Waiting for the opportunity to pass Phantom until he's close enough to Gabri that next lap around he will have DRS to Gabri and Phantom can't just re-overtake him. Smart driving from Sean. And next lap around, I reckon, he is gonna go after Gabri, as Gabri's tires are absolutely shot, it seems. 6 lap tire advantage in favor of Sean. And that is exactly what I talked about under the lap 1 safety car. This now is the advantage. Sean, well, he was forced into it with his wing damage, but essentially his strategy paying off well, I was going to say prioritizing, but he prioritized having a front wing, but to say what I was trying to say, his strategy of running the hard working out quite nicely. He had to give up all the track position to do that. He dropped back towards the end of the field. Gabri was running at the front, but Gabri had to run the regular medium hard, which meant a much earlier pit stop. Sean didn't have to do that, and now he has got way better tires and an easy run at P4 here, because Gabri has got absolutely nothing. Oh, well, he's got something. He's got a DRS game. He's got something. He has got DRS and he's got a full battery, and he's got Phantom right up his ass. So I think Gabri will get Sean back here. Yes, that's worked out actually. And Phantom might get Sean as well. As Gabri covers Sean off. Leaves the gap open for Phantom, though he's now up the inside into turn 2, and Phantom takes full advantage of the championship leaders battling amongst them. They are now 3 wide, down towards turn 4. DRS for Phantom and Sean, no DRS for Gabri, but he sends it up the inside, and they are 3 wide, still all the way through the corner and down towards the S section. What a battle this is, and Sean pulls out ahead. Phantom and Gabri still side by side through the S's, and Phantom's tire advantage comes in. He gets past Gabri, and now Flavors looking to the outside of Gabri. Is he going to get the switchback maybe? Down towards turn 10? No, but here comes Pinky. He has pulled the switchback off, and he's now on the outside line into turn 10. But he lets Flavors go ahead, who goes into the back of Gabri. And in turn, Pinky going to the back of Flavors as he gets slowed down by the hit on Gabri. Akuzin puts a fast lap of the race in. And Gabri has lost 2 places already. He's still got Flavors and Pinky right up his back. Pig's not too far back. I said he wouldn't lose out to all of them. He might actually lose out to all of them. 2 more laps to go. And the tire advantage of Flavors and Pinky is no less than it is for Phantom. Sean is pulled out of DRS range. He's got that P3 in the back, it looks like. Unless Phantom is just about inside it. Bobadino now finally has to make that pit stop. And he will drop out of the points, unfortunately. It's been a great race for him, but that one mistake in the pit stop phase, in the strategy department, going for slick instead of the mediums, has completely thrown his race in the bin. He has got enough EAS, I think, to hold on against Flavors here, but has Flavors got enough EAS to hold on against Pinky? Because Pinky surely wants that P5, but he's too far back into turn 4. Now with a good exit though, maybe? Doesn't get quite far enough underneath him there. And as we head into the last 1.5 laps in the race, Sean has got Phantom hovering just inside, outside. Oh, and Pinky's round! Pinky locks the rears and goes round. And that's his chance of top 5 over as he comes out behind his teammate Pix in 8. Bobadino coming out in 11th, so you will get 1 point there since Papdog ahead as a penalty, and he might even catch back up to Aussie as well. Of course, he has a massive... the tire advantage could not be any bigger, really. So you can have a go at the fast lap of the race and maybe at P9 as well, but that will be the end of his charge in the field in these last 2 laps. Not much of a charge, really, but yeah. Marco's back in the pits as well for one more time. At this point, he actually, I think, will be lapped by Kuko. We've got Pigs all over back of Flavors. Flavors not really all too close to Gabi, so Gabi doing well to hold on to 5th. I thought he would drop back even more, but he seems able to hold on at least to that much. As Flavors and Pigs are very close together coming out the last corner. Pigs still running out of EAS already. And that allows Flavors to pull away, although he's also out of EAS. And the EAS management from those two in behind makes it easy for Gary to hold on to the position for now. Bobadino getting past Papdog down the main straight. And now Pix once again very close behind Flavors, but Flavors looking at Gary instead. Once again, Flavors hasn't got the EAS to make the run. Pix late on the brakes, gets up the inside, and they make a bit of contact. Oh, they're both still pointing the right way. And the guys going side by side through the intersection, the battle for 6th here on the last lap of the race. Pix goes around the outside. Flavors has a look back up the inside, but doesn't quite get there. Pinky now with the switchback on the exit. No, runs into the back of Flavors and gets stuck where he is. But this battle is not over yet, because look up ahead. Pix on the back of Gabri. Pinky on the back of Flavors. Well, into the back of Flavors that time. I think Pix is a bit too far back, and Pinky, he might get Flavors here. Has a look up the inside, but he was too far back once again into the back of Flavors. Keeps tapping that rear. He's got one more opportunity as Kuko rounds the final corner. Is Pinky going to send it here? We've got a yellow flag for Maxi, who was crashed in the last lap of the race. And Kuko crosses the line with a dominant win in Bahrain. Just about caught. I'm sorry for that, Kuko. I really should have switched on earlier, but there's a battle going on further back. Vile with a great second place race there. What a week for him. P1 yesterday, P2 today. Great race from him. Sean Moore brings the car home in 3rd. What a comeback drive as well. From Phantom up in 4th and from Sean in 3rd. Gabri bringing the car home in 5th. Good damage limitation on a horrible strategy. Pigs in 6th. Pinky in 7th. Flavors in 8th. Pinky did get Flavors in the end. Bobadino recovers to 9th. And the fast lap of the race, with Aussie getting the final points, paying position in 10th. And a crash over the line. He's still going like... Holy shit, he's gone very far over the line with that wrecked car. Papdog 11th, and then Sully also with the wrecked car over the line in 12th. Bazooka in the end in P13. Followed by Overwise in 14th. Akuzin already finished in 18th. Of course, Maxi with a DNF on the last lap. Akuzin a lap down. And Overwise over the line now. He's so lucky to make the line, because he would have DNF for sure before the line, but it does give Edwin the place on track at least. Gets back on penalties with Overwise. And Edwin finishes 15th. And the final driver still going. Yesh in P16. That puts another race in Division 2 to bed, and a great race that was. Battles all throughout the field for most of the race. Kuko the only one really who was we had a very calm race. Sort of got away early on, never looked back. Was it a lights flag victory? Was he ever not P1? Yeah, of course, when on the pit stop phase. Since the hard runners went longer than needed. But other than that, he was the de facto leader all race. The only time he wasn't was when people had not stopped where he had. And an outstanding performance from Kuko to put himself right back into that title fight, right back into the mix. From 26 points back from Sean to only 16. And Sean, what a drive that was. 2 laps into the race, I think it was when the safety car came out. He had spun around at turn 4. His entire front wing was off the safety car. Well, a bit of luck involved there that he got a full course safety car for only a spin with a broken front wing. But he's made the absolute most of that luck. Made the hard strategy work. Made its way through the entire field, back up to P3. And the same goes for Phantom on the same strategy in 4th, and as well in the end, Gabri managed to bring the car home in 5th and keeps his championship hopes firmly alive. He's lost 5 points to Sean today. He's lost 15 to Kuko. So if we have a quick look at the standings once again, of course, we went through them earlier this stream, but of course, there's no possible way I remember that. Who do you think I am? Sean still leads, of course. He now is on 152. Gabri on 137. So the gap between Gabri and Sean now 15 points. Kuko, of course, the race win. He goes up to 136. So it is Sean in the lead, then 15 to Gabri, and 16 to Kuko. So Kuko and Gabri almost tied, but it is a unbelievably close three-way fight. And next week, we head to the sprint race at the Circuit of the Americas, a reverse championship starting order, and I'm very excited to see that. I hope you are just as excited as I am for that. We've got one more race at Bahrain as well this weekend on Saturday in Division 1. Excited for that one as well. That's a lie. I hate Bahrain as a driver. It's fine to watch. It's fine to commentate. It's good racing. I just I've always been quite slow around there, so I'm not looking forward to that perspective. But I'm sure it'll be a good watch for you guys. So yeah, thank you very much for watching today's stream. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much to the drivers for that race. It was a very, very good one to have a look at. And yeah, I'll stop talking in circles. Once again, thank you for your time. Have a good evening and goodbye.